if it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning, fiery furnace. And he will deliver us out of thine hand, O King. But if not, be it known unto thee, O King, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. You may be seated in the very presence of the Lord. I want to talk tonight from the subject matter, either way it goes, it will be all right. Either way it goes, it will be all right. And we solicit your prayers. Brothers and sisters, this story is a story surrounding the faith of three strong men. For we understand tonight that faith is essential to the lives of believers. Hebrews 11:1 declares, now faith is the substance of things hoped for. It becomes the evidence of things not seen. I like faith because faith is personal. You don't have to believe it in order for me to still have faith in it. My faith causes me to be hopeful. It causes me to understand that nothing is ever too hard and no goal is ever too far away. Even though I may not be able to see it, by faith I still believe it. As a matter of fact, the Bible says that we walk by faith. I wish I had a Bible reading here. And not by sight. He goes on to say that if we can see it, then why do we need to have faith for it? And so therefore, brothers and sisters, it may not be here, but because I am expecting it, I can live my life as if it's already here. As the Bible says, that we count those things as not as though they are. And I would submit to you tonight, beloved, that there is a unique correlation between the believer having faith in God and being a recipient of the favor from God. I'm going to say that one more time. I believe that there is a unique correlation between the believer having faith in God and being a recipient of the favor from God. You see, the favor of God, brothers and sisters, is a moment in time when the believer experiences the tangible manifestation of God's grace and his mercy colliding to alter the usual, expected, and anticipated result. I used to be slow. I'll say it one more time. The favor of God is a moment in time when the believer experiences the tangible manifestation of God's grace and his mercy colliding to alter the usual, expected, and anticipated result. And so, in other words, let me say to you, brothers and sisters, that there is a unique difference from the blessings of God and the favor from God. You see, blessings from God are corporate, and you do not have to have a relationship to be a recipient from the blessings of God. It is a blessing that people get up out of their bed in the morning. You ain't got to be saved in order to get up. It is a blessing from God. It's a blessing for you to get in your vehicle, travel the dangerous roads and highways, allow yourself to make it to your destination safe and sound without any hurt, harm, injury, incident, and accident. That is a blessing from God. But everybody that ain't saved don't mean that they didn't make it to where they were going safe and sound. But you see, blessings are corporate, but favor is personal. Brothers and sisters, I came to tell somebody that the favor of God is only designated for those who have a relationship with God. If we be honest Brothers and sisters, some of us in here are sitting next to our favor. You got a life not because you was the smoothest brother in the camp, not because your swag was turned over 100,000, but God, in spite of your mistakes and in spite of your shortcomings, gave you somebody that was going to love you even when you were unlovable. That, my brothers and sisters, is the favor from God. Somebody here rolled in tonight from favor of God. Your credit couldn't get it and your change was strange, but you ought to thank God that He looked beyond your faults and He saw your needs. You rolled here tonight in favor. As a matter of fact, when you leave here tonight, some of you are going to go reside in your favor. You knew that you didn't deserve to be in the neighborhood that you're in. You done came from shotgun houses and outhouses, and God got you living like you done moved over like the Jeffersons, all because God has given you His divine favor. I wonder, is there anybody here tonight that can be honest and say that I thank God that He has given me His favor? I ain't always done everything I should do. I ain't always crossed every T and dotted every I, but I thank God that in spite of my mistakes, He still gave me His favor. Y'all don't want to talk to me tonight, but somebody here ought to be honest and say that I was in the club and they were shooting, but I didn't get shot, not because I wasn't in the wrong place at the wrong time, but simply because I have the favor from His there. Anybody here other than me that don't mind testifying to say that I thank God for His favor? And somebody said favor ain't fair, but I'm glad I got it. I got God's favor all my life. The favor of God is connected to those who have faith in God. But when God favors you, it alone serves as a warning sign that dangers are ahead. In our text, brothers and sisters, the people of Judah have been placed in captivity because their king has surrendered while under siege and attack of the king Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar finds himself looking for men who are willing to stand in the king's court. Daniel 1:4 says that he's looking for those who have no blemish. He's looking for those who are well favored, skillful in all wisdom and cunning in knowledge and understanding in science. And so these men found themselves going through a 3-year training course. They were fortunate enough to eat of the king's meat. They were fortunate enough to eat of the king's meat and drink of his wines and partake of his delicacies because the king wanted them to have the very best, so that when they stood before him, that they could be at their best. Among the captive children were 4 children from Judah. Their names were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. The prince changed their names, Daniel to Belteshazzar, Hananiah to Shadrach, Mishael to Meshach, and Azariah to Abednego. If you put it down in the middle, we'll park and come back. And the text declares that in Daniel chapter 1 and verse number 8, Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor drink of his wine. Which leads me to the first insight of the text, brothers and sisters, and that is that when God has favored us, you will be confronted with compromise. Daniel went to the one in charge. He begged of them not to partake of the king's meat, nor to drink of his wine. Now, Daniel was not attempting to think outside of the box, but Daniel understood that the king's meat and his wines were directly associated with idolatrous worship. And so Daniel did not want to partake of anything that was not of God. And when you have the favor of God resting on your life, brothers and sisters, you must understand that you will be tempted. As a matter of fact, the devil understands that when God has favored you, that he cannot remove God's favor. So what he does is he tries to put circumstances around us that would cause us to compromise so that we can forfeit the favor that God has placed on our lives. He is not ignorant. He knows exactly what you want. He knows exactly what you like. And so the moment that God elevates you and favors you, that's the moment in the time when you are tempted the most. And so what you have to understand is that we cannot live any kind of way and expect for the favor of God to continue to rest upon our lives. Can I tell you that that's the reason with the church in this modern day church era, we want to live any kind of way Monday through Saturday, but expect to come to church on Sunday morning and see people under a pew, all because we think we got a little bit of favor. You ain't consecrated yourself none through the week, but you want to come and lay hands on somebody and expect them to fall out like Benny Hinn just walked in the room. The devil is a lie. You cannot live any kind of way and expect for God's favor to rest upon your life. And the problem is that too many people think that they are so gifted that they have not the responsibility to still live holy unto God. I believe the Bible says in Romans 12:1, I beseech ye therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. Which means that if God has blessed you and if God has delivered you, the least you can do is stay out of the floor. If God has brought you out, the least you can do is stay out of the liquor store. If God has favored you, the least you can do is go home at night and quit get a midnight rapture, because you understand that I can't live any kind of way and expect for God to still give me his favor. They were confronted with compromise. They had favor, but here they are confronted with compromise. The second thing that happens here in the text, I'm trying to get out of your way. The second thing that happens in the text is not only when God favors you are you confronted with compromise, but the second thing that will happen when you receive favor from God is you will be jammed by jealousy. Daniel chapter 3, verse 8 to 12, it gives the account of the Chaldeans going to the king Nebuchadnezzar accusing the Jews. They go to him and they remind him. You always know somebody's getting ready to tattle when they go to somebody in charge asking a rhetorical question. They go to King Nebuchadnezzar and they said, okay, did not you set a decree that when the music begins to play that everybody is supposed to bow? And so they go back and they report to him that the certain ones that you have appointed over the affairs of the province of Babylon, and then they get specific as if the king was not going to get the hint. He says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego have disregarded your command. When you experience favor and promotion, you will have some haters. And the reason why Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had haters was simply because from other people's perspective, what transpired didn't add up. I wish I had some help in here. You see, from their viewpoint, there seemed to be a discrepancy in their formulated equation of who was deserving of the promotion. Everybody went through the same course. Everybody had the same resources, except for Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And because they did not partake of the king's meat nor drink of his wine, everybody else automatically assumed that they had disqualified themselves from being included or being fit to receive a promotion. It was simple. The best were chosen. The cream of the crop, the crib that a crib were chosen. And everybody was given the best. But what happened was everybody else was depending on strategic planning. But Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah were depending on divine appointment. I wish I had somebody. I wish y'all take the breaks off me here. You see, everybody else wanted to give what they thought based upon principles. Planning says that the more that you have, the more you are able to do. But divine principles say, they counter it by saying, it only takes a little bit in order to do a lot. I thought I had a witness. I'm glad I brought her home. Come here, David. David will tell you when he got down there to the battle, and Israel and Philistine were getting ready to fight against one another. Nobody was willing to go against and fight against Goliath. So when he was willing to go forward, Saul said to him, you need a sword, you need a spear, and you need a bow. You need to take my helmet, you need to take my armor. But David said, no, Saul, you don't understand. I don't need all of that. I'm just going to take my slingshot and 5 smooth stones, because he understood that it only takes a little bit in order to do a lot. The disciples' strategic planning said that we need a lot of money to buy a whole lot of food to feed 5,000 plus women and children. But God's divine principle says that I can take 2 fish, 5 loaves of bread, feed 5,000, and have 12 baskets of leftovers, because it only takes a little bit in order to do a lot. I can take 1 can send 1,000 to fight, but 2 can send 10,000 to fight. All because it don't take a whole lot of people in order to do a whole lot of stuff. And I came to talk to about 5 folk in the house tonight that understands that when everybody else has told you that you need more to make it, but God messed around and blessed you in spite of by jealousy. But the final insight of the text is they were tested by trials. Nebuchadnezzar calls them into his court. And he says to them, I'm going to give you another chance. I don't believe that what I am hearing about you is true. For after all, I promoted you. I wish I had time to talk about, be careful of people who think that they're responsible for your promotion. And so, he says to them, I'm going to give you another chance. But be careful how you respond. Let me tell you, brothers and sisters, some things that the enemy is doing does not merit a response nor dictate a reaction. I'm going to say it one more time. Some things that the enemy is doing to you does not merit a response, nor does it dictate you to give him a reaction. The response was simple. Listen, King, we don't have to be careful with how it is that we respond. For the God that we serve, he is an able God. He's able to deliver us. But don't read too fast. And he, not that he might, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, okay. But listen to what the response is after the declaration. But if not, I gotta pause right here. I can't rush by those 3 words in the text because they just leaped up from the page and said, preach me. They said, but if not. Let me tell you, my faith in God is not contingent upon how God answers my prayer. And true faith in God is not wavered, nor is it compromised by the outcome. Many of us don't have a problem receiving promotion. But when our promotion is put to the test and we are put in a predicament that tests our faith, many of us will only believe God if it works out the way that we desire. But these men in the text, they said to him, but if not, we are not going to bow down to the image that thou hast set. Even if God does not do what I am anticipating and expecting for him to do, it is not going to cause me to make a concession. For what we must learn, and I'm getting ready to get out of here, is that the measure of faith that an individual has is what positions them in order to receive a miracle from God. In the New Testament, oftentimes you'll hear Jesus saying to those he healed, be it done according to your faith. Which means that if I have great faith, then therefore I can expect to receive a great miracle. But watch this, even if God does not give me the miracle that I have faith in him for, it's still not going to make me turn my back on him, because at the end of the day, he's still God, and he's God all by himself. Brothers and sisters, let me tell you, the enemy wants us to give up and to give in. saved. I know we got some sanctified folk. Janet Jackson sung a song a couple of years ago and said, I bet you think the song is about you. The predicament of your faith is not about you, but rather it is about the God in you. Whenever God promotes you and you are confronted with compromise and you are jammed by jealousy and you have been tested by trial, you need to understand that God has something to prove. I'm getting ready to get out of here. I've held you too long, but God told me to tell you the next time you find yourself with your back against the wall, He told me to remind you of two things. Number one, He told me to remind you that this is not the first time that you've ever been in trouble. And I came to tell somebody in the house tonight that this is not the first time that you've ever been tempted by your trials. And I came to tell somebody in the house tonight that if God blessed you yesterday, that just means that God has obligated Himself in order to bless you again on today. I came to tell somebody that if God blessed you yesterday, that means that He's able to bless you again on today. Because the Lord said, I am the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. God told me to tell you the first thing is that when you are confronted with compromise, when you're jammed by jealousy, when you've been tested by your trials, remember the first thing is that this is not the first time that you've been in trouble. The second thing He told me to tell you is that you must remember exactly who you really are. Remember, I told you at the beginning of this discourse that they were assumed captives, and that their names were changed. Daniel's name was changed to Belteshazzar. I tell you, Hananiah's name was changed to Shadrach. Mishael's name was changed to Meshach. And Azariah's name was changed to Abednego. power